Have a sex, I ain't into making love, so come give me a hug. Get into getting rough. When I pull up out front, you see the Benz up. I was not expecting that. I just disconnected my phone from my vehicle, so the music automatically comes back on. But what I wanted to say, my first thoughts was, good morning, good morning, good morning. Grand rising, my kings and my queens out there. I hope today is a beautiful day for you guys. I really do. I hope that the positivity is flowing, the prosperity is being manifested, and all that good stuff, right? So what I wanted to touch up on today was conveying your feelings, right? So this morning, my baby, my 7-year-old son, he's obsessed with playing Roblox, right? But he really doesn't have time anymore because he started school. He's in a charter school, so I have to get him up and his sister up at 5:30, just so we can be ready to leave out the door by 7 or later 7. And then he's in school all day. Then I got to drive home. So by the time we get home, it's about 6:45. So his bedtime is about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So in between the time we get home to the time that he goes to bed, he has to do homework. He has to eat. He has to, bathe, and get ready for bed. So it leaves very, very little time for things like television or the computer. I don't mind, I think they spending too much time on that artificial programming anyway. But, he likes what he likes and he gets frustrated. So this morning, he asked if he can get on a computer and I said no. I said we have to, continue to get ready to leave because we have to make sure that we out of here on time so that you don't be late. So, of course, he gave his little funky attitude. So I gave them the 5-minute warning. I said, 5 minutes, we're out the door. Of course, he tries to jump on the computer. So then when I say, okay, let's go, he doesn't have his shoes on or anything. He's like, but I didn't get a chance to get on the computer. I didn't get a chance to play Roblox. I said, well, you're not going to get that chance because we have to go. So his attitude was growing and growing and growing. Now he done shut down. It's down. Like, I'm talking to him, he's not talking back. He screwing up his face. And I'm like, stop doing that. Why are you doing that? And as a parent, you can tend to get frustrated too. And you want to just start yelling like, you don't act like that and you better get yourself together. I'm talking from, a black mama's point of view or whatever. A lot of people tend to yell because they get frustrated. That brings me to my point of conveying your feelings. If you learn how to convey your feelings properly, then you can avoid situations whereas you're displaying anger unnecessarily to people who don't deserve it, and you're also teaching your children at the same time, it's better to talk about it than to keep it inside and let it explode. Because now you're walking around like a little firecracker or a little ticking time bomb. And you don't want to do that. So me being a better me, I had to explain to him. I said, okay, I understand that you're upset. That's me acknowledging. That's number one. I acknowledge, I see, I recognize that you are upset. Then you explain. Well, the reason why you can't do this is because of A, B, and C reasons. So for me, the reasons is time to go to school. You don't have time to do that. I offered a remedy. That's number 3, a remedy. I can wake you up even earlier. You can get ready for school. Now you can have about a half an hour to jump on the computer to play your Roblox, or after school, when I pick you up, start doing your homework in the car because we're going to be in the car for a good 23 to 30 minutes. So start doing your homework in the car. That way, when you get home, you can have about a half an hour to get on the computer and play Roblox. And then, go right back into your regular routine. So I had to give him options. I had to allow him to see that, one, it's okay to be upset, but you need to speak about why you're upset. Talk about it. But being that he did not talk about it and he was shutting down, I had to throw out options for him so that he could start processing and it could go through his head that, hey, I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that you cannot do something. It's just that you cannot do something right now. And it makes no sense and it serves you no purpose to be upset and want to punch walls or whatever. Yeah, my son has a little anger issue. So I'm trying to calm that down. I'm trying to deconstruct the learned behavior of, the dynamics that was in the household, whereas we were all walking around angry because we're not talking about how we feel. So we're either walking around angry, we're shutting down, we're yelling, or whatever. Dysfunction in a household can really break a unit up, and you don't realize how much you can get accomplished if you just say, hey, you know what, I don't like what you did. Your behavior is inappropriate. It makes me feel whatever it makes you feel. It could be angry, confused, frustrated, whatever. And you convey that. It makes me feel this way. And I would appreciate if you don't do this to me anymore. Or if you're going to do that, allow me to exit the room. Something like that. You know, you got to create boundaries and control. But first and foremost, you need to let people know how it is that you feel, because if you don't, how would they know? So you're feeling upset, your whole energy is becoming negative, that's bouncing back onto the next person, their whole energy is becoming negative, and depending on who's the firecracker, you may get fireworks. You may get fireworks, and you don't want that. You know what I mean? You don't want that. And as I said in the last video, what you develop in yourself from when you was a kid, or whatever you got from your parents, either watching them or through genetic traits or what have you, you may be that ticking time bomb and don't realize it. Or maybe you are aware of your behavior. I don't know. Some people is not aware that, you have anger issues. You don't communicate well. Or your attitude is very intrusive on other people's energy. So it's like you have to become aware of yourself if you expect others to change around you. And then once you realize who you are and how you behave and what you like and what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate, you set your boundaries, then you can develop more healthier relationships. You can develop more healthier responses. You can actually change another person's way of being, hint, hint, your children, if you just started to be better. So when you know how to be better, if you know how to do better, then you do that. There's a lot of contagious type of behaviors. Kindness is one of them. You ever sit in the church and you're like, I'm tired of putting all this money in a collection plate, or you're at a fundraiser or what have you, or you could be sitting in the audience or of a show or whatever. When you start to see one person, then two people, then three people do something, it starts to change your mind, and then you want to give too. You want to be generous too. You want to be nice too. You want to help out too. It works the same way. If you're angry and you're pissed off and violent or whatever, it can cause other people to be angry, pissed off, and violent too. So you want to influence other people to do better by you doing better. It starts and it ends with you. You have to learn how to have control. You have to learn how to take accountability. And then once you take accountability, then you take on that responsibility to implement action or change, because knowing and then doing equals the power to be or do whatever it is that you want to do, right? So that was my message. If your children have anger issues and it's not due to a behavior or mental disability, then you owe it to you and your child, or any young person underneath you, or even an older person. It's never too old. It's never too late to implement change in someone's life. People are not meant to be stifled in their growth the older that they get. That's a narrow-minded thought. You can't teach this old dog new tricks. No, you can't learn new tricks. You're not a dog, you're a human being. The capacity of the brain is infinite. Like, you can learn things all the time and implement change. Is just if you want to. If you're stuck in your ways and you want to be naive, and I don't mean, if you feel offended, it's because I am talking to you, but I don't mean no harm in what I'm saying. All I'm saying is open up your mind to change because you want to change. If you don't want to change, then you're not going to change. So therefore, don't expect change to happen in your life. You understand? So I talked to my son. This is going back to the story. I talked to my son and I was explaining to him certain things. He seemed to have calmed down. He was still upset, and I gave him his space too. But once he started wanting to knock stuff over on purpose because he's mad. You know how little boys do, they want to walk, and anything in their way, they're gonna want to kick it or whatever, you know. And I said, hey, you understand, don't do that. That's unnecessary. And if you start destroying things around you, then I'm gonna get upset, and I don't want to be upset because you're upset. Talk to me, tell me how you feel, so we can one, so you can acknowledge it, and then two, we can talk about options to fix it. But I see that he was so stuck in that mindset, like, I want to do what I want to do, and I can't do what I want to do, and I'm never going to be able to do what I want to do. His mind was turning. You know, you got to be patient with children. Being patient with children will learn you to be patient with yourself, because you know what? You was a child once, and you still have that child in you. And as you grow, you're going to have that child in you. You're going to have that teenager in you. You're going to have that young adult in you. You're going to have that older, mature adult in you. And then eventually when you're a senior, you're so wise because you know how to recognize all of the parts of you. You went through all these levels of life, and hopefully you learned the lessons and applied them, and therefore made you a wiser and better person. So be kind, be patient, talk about your feelings. Doesn't matter to who. If somebody is making you feel some type of way, speak about it. Learn how to do more of the I feel statements. I feel angry because, or I don't like how this turned out because, or it made me confused because, instead of you made me feel, you did this, you are so ungrateful, because now the person you're talking to is going to feel like you're attacking them, and they're not going to want to listen. Instead, they're going to feel that you're crazy, like you're out of your mind, you don't know what you're talking about, you always want to make it about me. And people are that way, because when when somebody is saying that you're a bad person, when you know that you're not a bad person, and like I said before, there are no bad people, just bad behaviors. So everybody may feel like I'm not a bad person unless they feel guilty about something. You understand? So practice healthy communication, practice conveying your feelings, you know, practice patience with other people. Allow yourself to feel what you feel. Don't try to push it away. You are entitled to feel how you feel. If you're upset, you're upset. It doesn't matter why, you know, just say, I'm upset. And then once you acknowledge that you're upset, then you can figure out why you're upset. But if you don't understand and you saying you're upset and then you just try to ignore, you're like, yeah, whatever. You know, there's never a whatever. I hate that statement, whatever. No, it's never a whatever. There's always something. It's always something. And another statement I hate is, it is what it is. It never is what it is. It never is a situation like, oh, it is what it is. What can I do? You can do a lot. You can change your situation. You have the capacity to do so. So why would you just settle for less? Why would you settle for a situation that doesn't serve you? Why would you settle for negative feelings that's within you that you know shouldn't be there? You understand? Acknowledge your feelings. Think about what can be done differently, how you can change it so that you can feel better. You know, as long as it's not impeding on somebody else's feelings in a negative way. You know, sometimes it takes compromise where at least both persons involved or group of people involved don't feel angry, but, you know, at least they have gotten out of it something that's benefiting them in some kind of way. You know, they may not leave happy, but at least they're not angry, and that's the point. So until next time, I will talk to you later. Please like, share this video. You can subscribe if you want to. My purpose here is to tell you things that I've went through so that possibly it can help you in some type of way. When I do speak on here, it's coming from my heart. It's coming from experience. Something tells me inside to touch up on this topic, so I just wanted to put that out there. If no one told you today, allow me to be the first. I love you, and you are so, so, so very important. And you are worth a lot. Don't ever sell yourself short. Keep the positivity in your heart. Try to pass it around to other people, because that's like a bank. It's like a bank. You put a deposit and it grows interest. It grows interest, so that when you're ready for it to come back to you, you have more than what you put in here. So have a good day.